You ever get that jittery feeling? You're about to start a startup. You're on the cusp of something really big. You have this novel idea that is going to change the world. And you know it's something special because for the last few years you've been piecing it together like a jigsaw puzzle across space and time. A little piece here, a little piece there, and you have your eureka moment. Everything becomes crystal clear. The revelation descends from upon high. The epiphanic moment spreads from your mind and inhabits the entire world around you. You've got your startup idea. Now for me, excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold. A little bit of a sniffle. And a little bit of a cough. For me, I had my eureka moment when I was in a diner. I was looking at the desserts, and the diner had a little bit of a chilly, off-putting, alienating vibe, and I wasn't sure whether I wanted to stay at the diner or just kind of flirt with the dessert cakes visually. A little velvet cake here, a little lemon cake here, a little butterscotch caramel dulce de leche cake here and there. Brownie. Oh my God. I'm excited. And then I went and I looked at the menu, and the menu, I mean, I was in a diner and the menu was like 25 pages long. Really big pages too. So I was a little lost. Am I like in a diner, or am I in a full-scale restaurant pretending to be a diner? It's kind of like Starbucks pretending to be a cafe, but it's really Starbucks. So I sat down, completely flummoxed, perplexed out of my little noggin. I sat down, and I sat there, and I thought a little bit. I excogitated on my predicament. What am I going to do? Am I going to stay? Am I going to have a cake? God, the fucking menu is so intimidating. 25 pages of food to choose from. And I looked over, and guess what I found? Eureka. A flyer. Now, I think it's worth reading. Alerta 24 security system. Free advertisement for these guys. Control, oh, that's the Spanish. I could still read the Spanish, but my accent is horrible. I'll try. Control de accesos. Grabación continua o por eventos. Visualización de cámaras en vivo por internet o celular, televisores, etc. Notificación de eventos por email, integración con alarmas. I spent some time in Mexico, a couple months learning Spanish. Amazing accent. But for those of you who don't know Spanish, access control, continuous or event video recording, live video cam on internet, smartphone, or TV, email notifications, alarms, circuited, integrated. New generation of autonomous high-definition device and low-cost. Monitoring by smartphone, CCTV, security video, surveillance 24 hours. This was in the lobby of the nearby diner. I sat down, wasn't sure whether I was going to eat the cakes or not, and all of a sudden I'm looking, I see the TVs, CCTV, closed caption TV, video cameras. And then my mind exploded. My mind connected to that time I was in London's Heathrow Airport, and I was going through the security checkpoint, and they had all those cameras up there, and I was thinking, this is George Orwell, 1984. And it was the most sophisticated camera display I'd ever seen. There's probably 10 to 15 to possibly 20 cameras. I can't remember exactly. And they were so advanced because there was the front of the camera was circular, and then there were these lights going around in a circle. Really intimidating. You didn't want to do anything bad. you definitely wanted to stay in line physically and mentally. So I'm there looking at the cakes. I pick up this, and eureka. Like, what's his name? Back in ancient Greeks, who, when he was trying to find the volume of gold, he put it in a bathtub, and the water was displaced, and he was able to deduce how much the volume of the gold was, which was a very useful thing to know back then in ancient Greece. I'll remember his name in a moment. Anyways, that always happens in videos. I forget the person's name and it comes back to me later. I had my eureka moment while I was looking at this, contemplating the cakes. What I've been thinking about lately, and this just dogs me rough. How can I bring more intimacy in the world? See, I am so great with people. I love people. People love me. Love me. When I'm talking to somebody, they're like butter in my hands. I love them. They know it, and they melt. Melt. But I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed. I bet you have. Now, at least in the United States, we're not exactly an intimate culture. We're not exactly lovey-dovey. Public displays of affection, even between the romantically aligned, is on the decline. It's a fact. You know it, I know it, we know it. Among friends, among family members, and of course, among acquaintances and strangers, we are suffering a dearth, a deficit of intimate familiarity. You know what I am talking about. When I went into the diner, oh my God, my skin crawled. I felt so alienated. These people were looking at me like I was from another planet, like I was some kind of immigrant infidel, that I was going to cause some problem. And I was just sitting down. I was like, am I going to have some cake or not? I saw my flyer. My mind went pa-boom, pa-boom. And I had my eureka moment, my epiphany, my revelation. I want to devise a way to guarantee intimacy between human beings, to ensure that we open our hearts and connect with each other. I think it's the way to go for the future. I think somehow we got off track, we got derailed, historically speaking, and civilization has been on a crash course into the abyss of alienation, and we are just not what we could be. And I know you know what I'm talking about. I know you know. I know you know. I know you know. Now, there's some other elements too that I really think that you're going to love this. I was just recently reading an article about mini robo-bees. So in Japan, they've apparently kind of outfitted a drone to pollinate flowers in the way that bees would normally pollinate flowers. And because we've discovered as a species that millions of bees have disappeared, don't believe the news stories. I mean, yeah, they've disappeared. But why? Question these things. Question these things. I noticed, right? I noticed that if I could install a little camera on a robo mini drone bee and have those little guys flying around and connected to a mega computer database that crunched information algorithmically, right? So that I could process all the incoming data. I could find a way to guarantee intimacy with my mini robo bee drones. This is what came to me as I was contemplating cakes at the nearby diner where people were giving me these very bad vibes. The evil eye, the cold shoulder, all these proverbial expressions that have been handed down to us from antiquity that demonstrate that we've had a problem. We have a problem. We're not close. You know we are not close. And I had this idea. If I can create billions of mini robo-drones that are bees, and they pollinate plants and flowers everywhere, but on each one of these bees, you have a little camera, right? And this camera is picking up information in the environment, specifically how humans are behaving with one another. Whether they're being intimate, because I'm an expert on intimacy. Intimacy is like honey for me. Speaking of bees, intimacy is like honey for me. I just lap it up. I am so good with people, and I think you can tell. Anyways, I'm still kind of working through the kinks, and I'm having a little issue with funding, and I'll get to that in a moment. But I'm thinking to myself, what kind of visual cues, pheromonal cues, auditory cues can my little bees pick up? Busy as a bee, collecting honey, the honey of intimacy, going around, zzz, landing on a flower, looking at these two people. Oh, they're not being intimate. They're kind of off-putting, right? They're a little chilly toward one another. They're not as close as they could be. Their heart chakra is not open. They're not making eye-to-eye contact. They're being passive-aggressive. You know that. This day and age, you know how the Eskimos, they have like 33 words for snow or whatever? We've got 33 different kinds of passive-aggressive. Fuck it. It's all aggressive. I don't even know what this passive part really means anymore. It's aggressive. You know it. I know it. We know it. Let's get over it. Okay, so anyways, my little bees, they're going to be buzzing around. They are going to be recording how close people are. Now, the next step of my developmental program is that in real time, through the Internet of Everything, through satellites and cell towers and all that shit, I'll figure all that out later. I got smart friends, tech friends, geeks. We'll form a network so that my supercomputers back home can actually crunch all the data and figure out, not only by means of a kind of numerical measurement system, how intimate people are, scale 1 to 10, but then record that information. So let's say Harry and Sally are in Seattle. They've met up, and the chemistry's not there, and they're kind of a little bit chilly, like I said earlier. And if I had a bee there in that diner recording, because it's pollinating one of the flowers near the window in the diner, that bee would record the visual cues, the pheromonal cues, the auditory cues, all sorts of cues, send that information back to the database. Those numerical values would be crunched using an algorithm in the supercomputer, and then that information would be sent back to Harry and Sally through an app in their phone, and it would just say, they would give them a numerical judgment. It's a judgment, okay? A numerical judgment. So Harry would get like 7. And Sally would get like 7 too. I don't want to say one would get less than the other, because that would be sexist. And I am very good with human beings, and I am never sexist. So they would both know they got 3 more points to go in order until they get consummation, communion. Right? When Harry met Sally, that's a great movie, but we got to get them up to 10. And that's what I think my mini robo bees would do. They're little drones. They're connected to the Internet of Everything, which means that data can go wireless. goes to that cell tower over there, there, goes up to the satellite, goes down again to a cell tower, into my basement, where I have a whole vast storage system of mega computers. And I'm there, I'm on, because I don't want to spend all my time in my basement crunching information. I'm going to get that automated too. I think at first I'm going to have some assistants maybe. Maybe if I can find some friends to do this with me, that would be great. This is in the visionary stage right now. Visionary. This is just something that it's kind of been pieced together over the years, but it's my breakthrough. It's a breakthrough technology that guarantees intimacy for people, and I do have a little something to show you. I'm a little bit nervous, but I have learned that you can just step through your nerves, enter the nervousness, inhabit that uneasy feeling inside yourself, and you just become a cheerleader for your higher self. And you go rah, 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 you get out the pom-poms, and you just kind of buoy your soul up to its next level. And you feel replenished by spirit. Oh yeah, invigorated by the divine. And so I am just going to tell you, I'm going to be really straight. I have collected $1. $1. And I'll just show you. This dollar is broken. If I can tape it together and if somebody will accept it, then I can start to heal a broken humanity. But you can see that I don't even have funding for my drones yet. I believe that if I believe, this will become a seamless dollar, and I can help heal a broken world, heal a broken heart that is everywhere around me, and you know it, and I know it, and like honey, I taste it, and it fills me with such sweetness and sadness. But I've had my vision. I know, you know, that we are not the species that we can be. We are not friendly, and we are not intimate. And I figure this will be my contribution to humanity. Thank you for listening, and I'll make another video soon, and I'll tell you where you can send the money, but please, no broken dollars, no broken hearts.